We're going to see if this is going to be a a crow message. Excuse me, I know you're not supposed to do that. Because I got two songs coming into my head. And we're just going to see. The first one is Teddy Swims, Lose Control. Something's got a hold of me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in and the devil's knocking at my door. Out of my mind, how many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? All right, so we'll stop there. Goodness gracious, this makes sense. All right, the next one is Bishop Briggs. And what was the song? River. What part is coming into my head? Well, the cards are already telling the story as we go. What part is coming into my head? I lost it. The part. All right, maybe it comes back as we go through the reading, maybe not. Maybe somebody's just supposed to know 111 on the clock that that's one of the songs coming through. So we've got the Modern Witch Tarot and this Love Oracle. So the cards that came out, this one was face down. We've got the three. Ooh, it's a good thing it came out upside down. Maybe Spirit knew. I try not to get banned. She is naked. But it's a nude model. And so with this Three of Pentacles, I love this deck because of the inclusivity, which is why I chose it for this reading, because these will be coming out in June. All right. So with that, we have a situation where it's like, I feel like this is looking at, in this situation, intuitive reader here, you're looking at your passions and the things that you want to do. And then there's this person here who is helping. And in this card, I always feel like she looks like she's really trying to be supportive and helpful. But then we had the Ten of Swords come out. And so it feels like whatever those passions were, the way I'm seeing it right now is that, okay, we'll see if we pick that up, 222 on the clock off the floor. Dang, this may be another general read, so we'll just slow it down so that I'm not feeling like I have to speed through. All right, so we've got those passions that you're trying to lean into and do, and there's like this person who's trying to help guide you. They're trying to help you through this. And like I said, in this card, I always see this person as seeming or feeling like they're like this gentle teacher, somebody who really is trying to help. And I feel like that's a person who, like, I'm seeing the white shoes that she's wearing, and I'm feeling like that's somebody who really has tried to encourage you. I feel like they built you up and made it to where you really did feel like you could do these things. But then as that Teddy Swim song starts coming back into my mind, it's like, well, I've had so many other people or even my own doubts that have made me feel like, no, I can't do this. This is not going to work. And with that phone in her hand, I see it as like you're trying as hard as you can. I'm hearing to keep the dream alive, but at the same time, 333 when I looked up just now, you're just not sure, because it feels like so many times you may have come in with this passion of the Knight of Wands and been like, yes, I'm going to make my dream come true. I'm going to do these things. I know that I've got skill and talent. I know that I've got what it takes to do this. But then that Five of Wands comes in, creating conflict and confusion, which I think confusion is, yeah, the card that landed on the floor. Let me see if I can get it, since this is no longer a crow message. See, confusion. And so with that, it feels like whether it's people around you, maybe within your family, or you've submitted things, like if you do art or you're a writer, whatever it is that you do, some type of creative thing that you want to do, may even be singing, that you feel like there are so many barriers, or people who have told you that you can't, people who have put you down, people who didn't think that your work was good enough. And so it just feels like it's created confusion. And then with this Nine of Wands, feeling kind of beat up and defeated, like it's giving me similar to this Ten of Swords energy, where it feels like just time and time and time again, but instead of feeling like dreams slashed or pinned down. This is more like I stood up and I fought, and I stood up and I tried, and I stood up and I did the thing, but it's just not panning out the way that I feel like it should. So the first card that came out of the Love Oracle was emotional storm, turmoils, unstable, affected. And when I'm looking at it, and I am getting a ring light tomorrow, hopefully, you can see that it's like there's this mirror effect in the middle, and then you have these different aspects that are not mirrored, where it's just really blurred, like there are these faces, like these masks that are coming through. Now that could be your own emotional states, or it could be feeling like other people are coming in and that their emotional states change. But it feels to me more like a flip-flop. Oh, and as I see it, it looks kind of mirrored, but it's actually somebody with their hands over their face, because in the camera what it looked like was an archway with well, it looks kind of like a face, a weird face, like I want to say old wise man, but it's somebody like this. That makes sense. But on the sides, you've got, like I said, these people that look like they're masked. This is why I say I'm an intuitive reader, especially with these oracle cards, there's different images. But that's what I love, is that even if I'm looking in the camera, there was one, can't remember if it was a zodiac read recently or whatever. It was the zodiacs, because two signs ended up getting the card, and as I was looking, the shape of the trees looked like a crow. Can't remember which signs those were. So when you're open, and this is why I talk about self-trust with intuition, when you're open to interpreting things, even if it's not the literal meaning, you're open to seeing things, even if it's not what's there. Meanings that you wouldn't have thought of are going to come through sometimes. All right, so the next card that had come out was this one, Only You, Devoted, Attached, and Crave. I feel like this is not in that literal love meaning. I feel like in this reading, it's being so, I'm seeing it two ways. Somebody being so stuck in something being specifically a way. My success will only come to me in this way, or I can only be creative if I do this. Like there's this stuck point with the process. There's something with how you create or how it gets seen that you're getting stuck into because you feel like it has to be a certain way. That's how this is feeling. The other aspect of that I saw is, and that may be it because it kind of went out of my head for a second. Being stuck, this Only You, being stuck in feeling like that everyone's against you, the things that you do, they're just not good, and it's just leaning back into that emotional storm where it feels like that self-doubt, like only you would do this and it didn't work out right. I'm hearing like a lot of verbal negativity and stuff, but it feels like it's more in your mind versus other people may have said it, but it's like an amplification of what other people have said. And then we have breaking point, limit, final straw, and overwhelmed. So there's a lot of negative thinking that it feels like is coming in here, that you have this talent or something that is a passion for you. But because there's so much negative thinking, it's creating a situation where I just see you drowning. Not literal, but in emotions, just drowning in emotions. However you're handling that, I'm hearing you're not handling it. So for whoever this resonates with, because it started out as a crow message, I put in the descriptions, but let me just state clearly, these are general messages. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not everything that I say in these messages is going to be specifically for you. If it's a personal reading, even then, trust your intuition and use your discernment, but I'm giving you from your energy, your personal energy, what's coming through. But that self-doubt and those times when you felt like that others were criticizing you or that things didn't work out, that you came back in and you tried to move forward with your passion, but it just felt like you were being kicked down each time, it has gotten you to the point of overwhelm. And so the last card that had come out before that confusion card that fell on the floor was peace, balance, harmony, and friendship. So being able to trust that there are people out there who are on your side. And honestly, you need to be one of those. That's what Spirit's saying. You need to be one of those. Because without you being one of your own cheerleaders and recognizing the beauty, which maybe you did initially, like in this Three of Pentacles energy, maybe you were really excited. And especially if you had somebody that was telling you how good you were, they were helping you out and everything, they were encouraging you. And then over time, all these things happen. And now there's confusion because you don't feel like you're as good as you thought you were. Uncertain, unclear, unsure. Notice that this card has a lot of orange in it. That sacral chakra, which is passion, creativity. I say often the embodiment of you, like you being comfortable within your skin is how I describe it sometimes. You feeling like you can let your guard down. That relationships, whatever type of relationship it is, you can allow yourself to have those more intimate connections. And that doesn't necessarily mean physical connections, but just emotionally intimate, that you're sharing, and it's a true exchange, not just having a wall up. There's also a sun in this photo and the bright yellow with that. So you rebuilding your confidence. That's how you find the peace. I feel like that's a huge point in this. So Spirit, let's go. I'm hearing to the chakra wisdom oracle and see what's coming through. So for whoever this reading is for, what are the things we need to look at? Yeah. So the first card that we have is a solar plexus is in a couple of these cards. I just talked about the solar plexus, 12:12 on the clock, and it was 12:11 I was going to say, and then 12:12 happened. So either one of those could be helpful to you. I don't know. But these are solar plexus, and this card is dissipating. So with this person, they're losing interest in the things around them. Even the pictures of family members in the background are fading. There is this beautiful songbird there looking at the person, and the mouth is open a little bit like it's trying to sing to them. But this person's just sitting there, and they're not even turned towards the TV. They're not even watching the TV. There's nothing that they're interested in. And so this feels like it's saying for you to be mindful that trying to block out some of those negative thoughts and not necessarily allowing yourself to explore them, feel them, challenge them, is creating a situation where you're just becoming detached. That was interesting. And I feel like with that blue on the lamp, which could be a light bulb moment, right? And on her dress, that it's partly also losing your voice. That through this, you're losing your way of communication. Whether that's song, whether that is painting, drawing, whatever it is that is your passion, that's part of your way of interacting and communicating with the world. Next card that we have is a crown chakra card, and it is confusion. So this is creating a lot of confusion, that disconnect. And there's even a divine support here that's trying to wrap its arms around this person. This person is out here in the cold. That's what I'm seeing, out here in the cold. They're feeling like they've just been left out. And they're even abandoning their own needs in themselves. They're stuck. I think I talked about 14:14 on the clock, a stuck point earlier. And they're not even seeing the possible supports around them. With their arms crossed, they're just closed off. Now, with this indigo top, it's like we're in this deck. The gray represents the crown chakra. The pants are gray. It's like pushing that connection to divine, to higher self, whatever, down. And then this indigo being like an overactive third eye. So even when your intuition is on point, this is one of the things I talk to people about. I remind myself, your intuition can be incredibly on point. Everyone has intuition. We all have different ways that we connect with it, or even different levels of understanding how to sense and understand our intuition, how our bodies, our minds, our surroundings communicate with us. But either way, having that overactive third eye intuition could mean that yes, 15:15 on the clock, you are picking up on signals from people or places, situations, things like that, that could indicate that something's wrong. But it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong in the way that you think it is. So let's say an example I use, I think I even used it recently in the Zodiac reads, don't remember whose. Your supervisor sends you an email saying, hey, let's talk. Or, hey, can you come have a chat with me? Whatever it is that they say. And if you're somebody who has had anxiety or things like that, your first thought may be, oh crap, what happened? Okay. So your intuition may be guiding you that something was wrong, or your past experiences, those emotional imprints that we have. I looked down because I just finished a general reading where we had the Six of Cups, and this is not that reading, but there are past experiences. So we can look at even the 9 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. So these 16 on the clock, these emotional imprints make it to where your intuition may say, oh, so I feel uncomfortable. And then those emotional imprints say, oh, something's wrong, alarm bells. Because with your brain, and I won't science the science to you too much, but your amygdala is sending off that signal that something's wrong. And it takes a while to get to the frontal lobe to say, but it's not that bad. Or maybe it's this. It might not be the worst case scenario. So it feels like that overactive intuition without the discernment, without that judgment that comes from that frontal lobe. And in order to get there, as I said, your amygdala is sending out alarm bells immediately because that's its job, to alert you to danger, possible danger. But without the discernment of our intuition, without connecting to our higher self, to our frontal lobe, to whatever it is, to the divine, we may misinterpret it. So this person is feeling confused and left out in the cold, but that may not be the situation. I tell people, think about if you're in the woods and you see something that's kind of curvy, even if it's not moving, and that amygdala goes, oh, it's a snake. And so your body is responding, your whole nervous system, sympathetic nervous system is in fight, flight, freeze, maybe even fawn. And then all of a sudden it travels to the frontal lobe where judgment and decision making is, and you go, it is a rope. That does not mean your body has fully settled down yet. That takes a moment because you responded. So then we have gratitude. Now, with the next card that came out, facade, and notice that there's, so this is what brought me to that. I was like, why did I feel like the 6 of Cups was in this reading when it was in the one I just did? Because we have an adult with a child here. And then here we also have somebody who's pregnant with a younger person. And so it's those relationships you had when you were younger and relationships you have now. And some of that is a relationship with yourself. But with this yellow, it feels like, and this is where that 6 of Cups energy from the previous reading was coming in. If you felt like that something you thought you could trust in your childhood happened and now you couldn't trust it. It didn't feel right. Like the trees are bare. It did not lead to what you thought it was going to lead to, or it was not something that was incredibly helpful, or even that this person was helpful and now they're not here. How do I make these decisions without this person? And this is coming to me especially with this card where it's like they're right there in front of you, but you just can't see them. Recognizing that, and this is a third eye card, you get to choose. I was trying to decide how I want to word this because there's several things coming in. Part of it is that growth, where she's pregnant, where there are vines coming up and growing around this heart, and then also all this violet, the crown and third eye connection. Again, I think I said in this reading, I know I said it in the other one that I did, so these are very similar. Maybe I go ahead and put both of them out at the same time. We'll see. But it's a reconnection with you, not not just getting information from one person or another or one belief system or one whatever. This is you being able to reconnect with yourself, and that can be through whatever higher self, divine guidance, spirit team, whatever that is for you, especially with where this heart is over top of them. And also with people here on this plane, this whatever 3D world, whatever you want to call it, who actually are supportive. But you've got to be able to trust it. And this person being in red, it feels like, Pete, you'll know. I'm hearing you'll know, because you're going to feel grounded. You're going to feel safe. You're going to feel secure. You're going to feel comfortable. And understanding that maybe you felt that way in the past. But if in the past you felt that way, or people were saying things that made you feel that way, but your intuition was kind of saying, I'm not sure about this, to trust yourself. Because it may not be this way for everyone, but I can tell you, relationships I've had in the past where I didn't trust myself, it went sideways. It went sideways. And some of the best connections that I have come from situations where it may have felt uncomfortable at first, because I was like, how do I feel so comfortable with this person? How do I feel like I don't have to overthink everything? Because I wasn't used to it. I thought that you always had to be on guard with people. That's not necessarily the case. There really are people out there. And part of it is being grateful for the connections you have and allowing yourself to lean into this. It's hard. But there are people out there who really do have your best interest at heart. They don't have any kind of agenda. And know that your nervous system may react, but your intuition will let you know. So teasing out and being able to discern between your intuition and what's anxiety and things in the past is hard. But it feels like that's where spirit is really calling you for this. Let's see. I'm trying to decide affirmators or a cosmic record. We'll do a cosmic record for this one. Aim for higher. In the current struggle, you may seek quick resolution. That Knight of Wands trying to rush in. And the reading before, if you want to watch that, I'll link them together just in case, because before it was the Knight of Swords rushing in, and we got the Knight of Wands with this one. So if one reading isn't for you, maybe the other is. It's kind of a similar message wrapped in different packaging. Let's see. But rushing in will complicate things. Let go of fixating. I told you. Fixation on something. Let go of fixating on the outcome and choose a path of empathy and foresight to overcome the impasse and improve the relationship. I could pull another card, but there's no point in doing it. That is the message. So I hope that this message did resonate with you in some way, or had some kind of offering that creates an opening for you to think things through, or it triggered a thought for you that may be helpful. If you do resonate with it, or if you felt like it was helpful, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment. I always get tickled by those comments, and I am humbled each time that I happen to come in and I see my subscriber count get higher from 9 or 10 people that I know to 200 and some right now. I'm not going to cry. But I am humbled and grateful. Woo! It may not seem like a lot to others, but it means that the messages are starting to go where they are needed, and that they're coming through in a way that hopefully people are connecting with them. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the things. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care.